things out with another odd controversy involving Kyren Lacy. So the story's been going around about Kyren Lacy lately. Unfortunately, it looks as though Kyren Lacy unalived himself. He was, in legal trouble because he was, being cited for what is it, negligent vehicular homicide or something like that. But then apparently there was a development in the case where apparently he wasn't responsible, but it was being made to look like he was. But now there has been a response to that, which shows that, it wasn't a setup. And so, yet another bizarre story here. So, this says Kyren Lacy, cops release footage of crash contradicting attorney's story. The Louisiana State Police have released surveillance video of the Kyren Lacy accident, as well as witness accounts of the incident contradicting claims that the late LSU football star did not cause the fatal crash. LSP dropped the critical incident briefing video on Tuesday, days after Lacy's attorney, Matthew Ori, shared footage allegedly showing Kyren's green Charger 100 yards away from the accident scene during the December 2024 crash that unalived 78-year-old Herman Hall. In the newly released state police video, Lacy is seen speeding in the opposing traffic lane, passing three cars and a loaded 18-wheeler in a 40 miles per hour zone just moments before the crash. According to LSP, due to Lacy's driving, a female driver swerved left into oncoming traffic, colliding head-on with Hall, who tragically died from his injuries. The video shows Lacy aggressively braking to re-enter the southbound lane near the time of the crash. The surviving female victim, seen lying injured on the ground, told officers she swerved to avoid a car weaving through traffic, which forced the truck in front of her to slam on its brakes. Despite Lacy's actions being the primary cause of the chain of events leading to the fatal crash, according to cops, LSP still cited the woman. Police also released new body cam footage showing several witnesses at the scene, with one telling police the green Charger caused all this. Lacy was charged with negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle, but died by unaliving on April 12, 2025, before facing the charges. Now, there's a clip of the lawyer trying to explain that Kyren Lacy is innocent, and then there's also the body cam footage of the investigation with the eyewitnesses saying what happened or what they saw. So y'all can be the judge, but we will play the lawyer talking about the situation. We won't play the clip of the body cam with the cops, investigating the situation with the eyewitnesses because it's a bit too long. But here's the cop of the attorney talking about Kyren Lacy being innocent, apparently or allegedly.
Yeah, so what you'll see is in the top left of the screen, you're going to see multiple cars just making their way south to Thibodaux, coming from Vacherie. At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr. Hall. You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyren Lacy come to a stop.
So as we've seen the video, it looks like the impact happens, and then Kyren Lacy is behind him. How far away was he from there?
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of the investigative report that I now have my hands on. We know from data that Kyren Lacy did, in fact, pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyren Lacy passed 4 cars. However, he was back in his lane of travel, 92.3 yards. Back in his lane, behind Mr. Hall. At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact. Keyword, behind the vehicles. That is not how this story was ever painted. Never.
Any part of the district attorney's investigation that talked about Mr. Lacy getting back, I guess we call it, what do you call it, correcting or getting in your proper lane?
Sure, he was back in his proper lane according to their data. This isn't my expert. This is the investigation of the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office. So I'm here simply comparing and contrasting the District Attorney's Office with state police in this matter, their investigations. And in that investigation,
All right, so this to me is another very strange, bizarre situation. But so yeah, what do you think is what do you make of this? What are your impressions?
First of all, very unfortunate situation all the way around. So, condolences to everybody that's involved. All right. And I'm with you on the fact that this is a strange situation. When this first happened, there was plenty of opportunity to speak on it. Even when, he unalived himself, there was also an area for us to talk on it. But, I just wanted to, give this situation its respect, and I didn't want to bring it up as a topic, but there was a groundswell of support and disgust and all type of things going on the internet once the clip of the attorney came out and people actually saw the footage. And at least as far as I'm concerned, today is concerned, that this rebuttal of evidence came out so the police department can clear the air on their behalf. And seeing the footage of him passing those other cars, seeing the person who actually hit the other person, some elderly woman. It's a tough matter to call, in the sense of, was he genuinely at fault? But the fact of the matter is, when you're on the road performing stunts like that, as he was, you don't know who you're sharing the road with. And if that woman that said that they hit that other car, and the way that they swerved, they didn't swerve off into the shoulder, they swerved into traffic. But you don't know who you're driving with when you're pulling these stunts. And they could swerve into traffic because they're an old person and they don't have high reactionary skills or whatever. And so, to me, I just think it was an unfortunate situation. The guy in the car blasting his music, just trying to go somewhere. These people moving too slow. I hate the street with one lane, all that stuff. And, he in his heart of hearts, he know that was just an accident. Kyren and, his people, I'm sure he, in many ways, he thought that it really wasn't his fault. But, given the circumstance, by law, I'm sure it will be seen in the court's eyes that it was his fault. So, he was left in a very difficult situation. And so, he ended up doing what he did. But all in all, my take on this situation was, yeah, man, he was a young dude who was, just trying to live his young dude life. Because I know me personally, I used to pull stunts when I was his age in a car.
Yeah, I've had my fair share of very questionable driving decisions for sure.
Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? And I learned some of them from you, bro. Boy, you'll be taking them somewhere, and I'm like, Lord Jesus, take the wheel now. Jesus, take the wheel. Oh man, I didn't know how you was doing it, bro. You was whipping that thing. And I was like, damn, yeah, I'm sitting there driving my little Toyota. I'm like, bro, I can whip this thing. So I started whipping my little Toyota, going crazy on the road. So I know what it is to be a young person, you know what I'm saying, in that situation. And no, you didn't anticipate none of that to happen if you were this young man. But I mean, stuff really just went down that way. And yeah, it's just a real unfortunate situation. But the internet was up in arms because they were really in this position because they only saw the attorney's footage and his explanation of the situation. Yeah. And, they was like, oh, Kyren's innocent, Kyren's innocent. At this point, I don't know what's up. But I know one thing is that an attorney's job is to be an attorney. Mm-hmm. And he used that footage to his advantage. He brought it. I'm like, why you bring this public, bro? But, that's what he needs to do. Because nowadays a court of public opinion matters more was going on in court.
Yep.
And his job is to put reasonable doubt in the air. the diddler getting 4 years due to money and reasonable doubts, I'm sure.
And
Many
there's
due to money.
and there's speculation that he won't even do all of that.
You know what I'm saying? So that Cambodian breast milk is not too far for him. You know what I'm saying? It is on the way, bruh. So all in all, I think the attorney is doing his job here of court of public opinion situation, and also because the law is what it is. And if you could put enough reasonable doubt in the air that yes, he did pass those 4 cars. However, he was in his lane well before that person made that move. And one can look at the footage that way. One can hear the stories that way. So him putting that in the mind's eye of the people, I don't know if this is going to retroactively go to court or anything like that, because he's already passed. Like, I don't even know how that's going to work, but it's still a situation where the lawyer is lawyering this. And but yeah, I just think all around it's just a sad situation. But what are your thoughts, man, on the Kyren Lacy situation just taking an interesting development at this point? What are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, it is a very sad situation, and I really don't have an angle on it one way or the other. It's just it sucks because it resulted in the 2 deaths.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not too intimately involved with the story. I don't know anybody who is involved, but I would imagine that part of what made this so devastating for the young man himself was that it resulted in somebody losing their life.
Yeah.
Now obviously no one wants to deal with reckless driving or any of those sorts of legal issues. No one wants to deal with anything like that. But like, I feel like obviously it's made insurmountably worse when somebody loses their life. I'm pretty sure that weighed heavily on him. So it sucks, man. It really does suck. It's interesting. I noticed what you noticed. Once the attorney, once the angle of him not causing the accident came out, I was waiting for the social justice stuff to start. Because I figured that would be next, and I haven't seen too much of it. I did see Ryan Clark, of course. He did his social justice thing on Monday night. Monday Night Football. I guess that was last night, where he talked about it, and basically, because to me right now, based upon everything that I'm seeing, everything looks inconclusive.
Yeah, right.
But Ryan Clark, of course, was very conclusive in declaring Lacy's innocence on national television. I thought that was a bit weird. I was uncomfortable with that, but it's Ryan Clark, so what are you gonna do?
Right.
But that's kind of what I was waiting on, is where is the social justice angle of this? The whole, they're trying to set up to bring down the name of another black man and all that kind of stuff, or another young black person. Me not seeing so much of that, to me, is indicative of the possibility. Well, let me take that back. Me not seeing very much of that is indicative of this situation's inconclusiveness.
Yeah.
Typically, when people go full board with the victimhood stuff, it's because they have a generally confident sense that there was indeed some wrongdoing which took place. But I feel like because we're not seeing very much of that, that there's at least the specter of the idea that it could still go either way in terms of who actually was at fault or what actually happened. Because if you watch the video of the body cam and you see the eyewitness reports, that looks authentic to me. You know what I'm saying? That looks authentic to me. Stuff can be doctored or whatever. You never know. Weird stuff goes on all the time. But if you watch that video, that seems authentic to me. But then also the idea that he didn't cause it because he was 70 yards away or whatever, that also is, I think, plausible, especially when, to your point, you're trying to instill a bit of reasonable doubt in the mind's eye of people in the legal process. And I will say this as well. You make a good point when you talk about the court of public opinion having an influential sway in the way things turn out. that is definitely true, especially in this day and age,
Mhm.
because putting something out into the world that does have an element of some sort of racial victimization or racial bias, because that's where it will go if
Mhm.
people start to suspect that stuff was set up to work against him. It's going to become a racial conversation. It will, and in the event that that does take place, public opinion does have the potential to be influential in regards to the way things turn out in terms of its outcome.
Mhm.
So, you know what I'm saying? We'll see how it plays out. I think at this point it's totally inconclusive. And I just feel terrible for the loss of life. To me, that's the overall point of the whole situation, both for him as well as the older guy who was involved in the collision. Because you think that the old man was probably driving, doing whatever that he normally does every day,
Right.
and then this happens. Like, that's devastating, you
Right.
know. And then even for him, man, like he was probably just being young and I don't know, doing something in the moment, a bit irresponsible. You don't know if something like this is gonna happen. Not
Right.
trying to make excuses for him, but it's
Mhm.
just the element of it where there's loss of life is just devastating. So I hope that, however it concludes, it's an amicable one and not one where there's some sort of weird shenanigans going on. That's pretty much all I can say.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to any weird shenanigans. But there's definitely opposing factions going on and building on the internet about this. Um, and I think also due to its inconclusive nature, it will always be that way. There's going to be factions. One that's saying, "Nah, he did it," and there's going to be others that said, "Nah, man, whatever, whatever." And yeah, Ryan Clark said what he said last night. I didn't see the footage, but I saw a headline mentioning that Ryan Clark was talking about it, and I can only imagine how that was.
Oh, he went all in on the speculation is true and he's 100% innocent and they're setting him up. He Ryan Clark went all the way in on that.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that the police releasing this footage the day after is not a coincidence. Um, because it was already, me personally, it was already big news on at least TikTok where people were saying that, oh, he's innocent, and I'm not here to say he's innocent or guilty. I
Yeah.
just think that the footage of that lawyer went super viral, and I think Kyren, and again, condolences to his family, man. I think Kyren was 1 year away from getting drafted before all of this. Uh, I don't know if none of this happened and he declared to go to the draft. I'm sure he would have gotten drafted at some point. It was going to be a high rounder. But after this situation, he declared for the draft. Um, you know, yeah, which I thought was pretty sporadic. There's just a lot going on with this. And I was hoping that he wasn't responsible, but I didn't know. And I was just hoping the best for this guy because his play on the field, was sporadic, and his on the sidelines antics, shenanigans when it came to celebrations or uploading videos post game and stuff like that. It was all hyper activity. So to hear that he was involved in a situation where he was driving in a hyper fashion, I wasn't surprised, unfortunately. And and I much like you, I think the loss of life here is what really got to this dude, and pretty much you know draft prospects and other things going through the window.
Yeah.
It sucks, man.
Yeah.
But the NFL has a way of making things go away for some people. Not for Henry Ruggs, but for people like Isaiah Bond, for instance, and others who will get into their situations. And the NFL can make things go away. Um, if this happened while he was in the league, it might be a Rasheed Rice situation. You know. But this dude, he unalived himself before any of that stuff became a thing, or whatever. And I just think that this overall just it's a tough situation. So yeah, man, we'll see how this plays out. I'm not here nor there with it. I just think it sucks.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I don't want to hear the because they don't know what happened, or they're not in a position to call it. One way or another, not with this evidence that they got. So I think everybody just needs to be respectful and get out of the way, and not be weird about it. So
yeah, man. The loss of life aspect of it is very sad and unfortunate on both accounts.
Yep,
It's just, yeah, I just, tremendous condolences to everybody involved, because the old man, I'm pretty sure he has family too.
yeah.
Kyren got family, and you wake up one day and you never know how the day is going to end, man. It's crazy, but
yeah. Stay safe out there, man. And if you're a young man and you're out here pulling stunts, bro, trust me, I understand. Okay, I was pulling those stunts. I pretty much stopped around 22, 23. But that's how old he was. So yeah, man, just be safe out there, y'all. And just a simple, hey, I'm gonna do this little execution real quick. It might not pan out well. And honestly, I'm pretty sure you see it all the time down there in Miami, bro. People driving on the shoulder and doing all kinds of stuff because it's too much traffic. And you never know how that's gonna pan out either. So y'all just stay safe out here, man.
Well, no, there's wrecks all over the place down here because people have the attention span of a cockroach, and can't put the phone down while they're driving.
Lord have mercy. Going 75.
I kid you not. Driving down here, I encounter a minimum of 4 or 5 accidents each week.
Yeah,
and I might be underselling it. And every time you see it, it's an accident where you say, how exactly does that even happen? The physics of it is just weird. Like, how does that happen? I'm personally of the belief that all of these are happening because someone's not paying attention. At least one of the individuals involved in this accident is on the phone, not actually looking at the road. And everyone is doing this. It's just a matter of time as to when you're going to end up in your own accident, because you can only do that but so many times before inevitably, statistically, it's going to catch up to you. People need to stop with that stuff, but they won't. People are going to keep doing this crazy stuff. But that's why it's happening, and it's an epidemic down here, bro. The rate of accidents down here is out of control. It's crazy. And mind you, I see the amount of accidents that I see every week, and I don't commute to work. I don't even really go nowhere like that. So, the limited time that I actually drive per week, and I still see that many accidents. So imagine if I was actually driving a lot. So yeah, it's crazy, man. People have bad driving habits, to say the least.
Yeah. Hey, y'all stay safe, man. Here at the Conscious Approach, we're safe drivers, guys. It's the irresponsible side of things, man.
Yeah. Yep. Well, on that note, man, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. JV Wins Dogon SS. Check us out on Instagram at Conapproach, CONAPPROACH. Check us out on TikTok at Conapproach. Same thing, CONAPPROACH. I'm also on Instagram at JV Wins, JVWINS. Search us out, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. And as I always like to say, man, don't be a group thinker. Have a mind of your own. Think for yourself. Don't let others think for you, like Liz Cambridge does, apparently. And until next time, man, we're moving on to the NBA season. Of course, I'm gonna still root for my Seminoles during the bowl games, because we'll qualify for a bowl. But I don't know about the playoff at this point. But in the event that there is a mutually hated enemy, I'll also go ahead and slide over to show my support for the Canes. It is what it is. So in that regard, I won't be a total sore loser. But with all that said, until next time, everybody, Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any other video. Hit that like button, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah. And the name is Dogon SS. And you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS, on YouTube, DraftKings, MySpace, X, Twitter. Hey man, there's a social media platform, Dogon_SS is out there. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow, and all that good jazz. And as I say every week, guys, we greatly appreciate you guys for watching, liking, sharing, all right, and consciously leaving comments, all right. And because if you guys don't do that, Mark Sanchez might find you in a dark alley somewhere, all right. So we don't want that, man. All right. And as I say every time, guys, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it play, and don't let anybody get you off your pivot, including Benny the Butcher, who might call you guys a nerd for being on your square. All right. Hey, man, we greatly appreciate you guys for watching yet again. We've got more rings than Robert Ory over here. We'll see y'all next week. Chill.
Yeah, we done, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off before you can say go Canes, because I can't allow that.
Come on, bro. Say it with me, man. CANESK.